Hey Ed, are you busy today?
No. Why, what's up?
Do you mind holding this for a second?
Sure.
Thank you, bud.
Hey, what is this for? No, no.
Hello, and welcome to Coog Cinema Reviews. I'm your host, Kiyan Badkoubeh, and today we'll be taking a look at Blue Sky Studios' latest film, Ferdinand. The movie takes place in Spain and follows the story of Ferdinand, a bull raised on a farm that grows, trains, and sells bulls for Matadors to fight, as he struggles to fit in, seeing as how he would rather smell flowers and live a peaceful life, contrary to the nature that bulls are fighters. After managing to escape the farm, he comes across a farmer and his daughter Nina, who take Ferdinand in as their pet. As Ferdinand gets older, it becomes harder for him to fit in, and one day an incident causes him to be taken away from Nina and return to the very farm he grew up in, where he must learn to become a fighter in order to survive. Alright, well, this was a very pleasant and satisfactory movie. There was nothing that blew me away, and there's also nothing that's terribly bad. It's a good movie though. It's a good movie to watch with your family and your kids, especially this holiday season. I had very high expectations. I thought I was really gonna like it, but I went in and it just wasn't all the way what it could have been. If you're going into the movie looking for a serious, dramatic kind of film, this isn't your movie for that. They take it in a very comical, lighthearted, is very funny and it's cute and it's meant to be, you know, simple. So to start off, let me talk about the animation. The animation was average. It was nothing spectacular. It wasn't terrible either. It was average, you know? It was passable. And so the way I kind of felt about it was that like, there was just enough attention to detail to where like it passes as good animation, but there wasn't enough attention to detail at the same time to where it's not something that I can consider amazing animation. Things that they did well, I mean, you know, they had the fur on the animals was somewhat detailed. It wasn't just like flat slabs of color. They had some bit of texture to them. Not as much texture as we've seen in other animated movies, but it was decent. However, the thing that really I think just took away from the animation was that the scenery and the animation that went into animating the backgrounds that we were in, of the world that we were in, was very minimal. This movie is supposed to take place in Spain, and at times it didn't feel like it was taking place in Spain, because other than a couple generic backgrounds or like specific backgrounds such as like the bull ring, a lot of the scenery that we saw from the ranch, the farm, or the fields that they were in, a lot of it looked like something that could come out of like America or some other distant, you know, land. Like it didn't feel very traditional and like it had to be from Spain. The characters, they're animated very cartoony. They're meant to just be able to poke, like I said, since they went with a comedic tone, their animation of their characters kind of reflects that. It wasn't bad, it worked with certain characters and things. The only thing that I think was really weird about the animation was that so the way they animated the young bulls, especially Ferdinand as a young bull, I don't know, I found that really weird, just because at times he looked like a humanoid like thing that just had the head of a bull, and it was really weird. So I don't know, that was weird for me. Moving on, the story was, like I said, it was very comedic. They went for a joke-driven kind of plot. Speaking of the comedy, it was basically kind of corny, your typical basic like punchlines and jokes that the running jokes that go on with the characters. But with the exception of there was one scene in the middle that was really funny. I know that everyone around me in the theater was like busting out laughing. So they definitely had a hit in there. The message was simple. It was nothing that we hadn't already heard before. It wasn't powerful. It was simple. It was to the point. I think my biggest issue with like the story is just the pacing in certain locations. The way it was written, we're supposed to, like Ferdinand and Nina's relationship, and Nina's the girl who takes him in, we're supposed to like feel something for them because they're the main relationship, and Ferdinand goes through everything he goes through for Nina. And just, I felt like their relationship, we only had like 5 minutes to watch them bond, and then that was it. And we didn't really get to know Ferdinand and Nina that much. And I feel like that could have been drawn out a little bit more just to make us actually care about these characters. I think the biggest problem with the movie is just that at times it felt really whitewashed. They cast John Cena as Ferdinand, and they cast Kate McKinnon as the goat. It felt very out of place, especially coming from Coco, who recently was very well known for being like culturally representative. If you're gonna do a movie that takes place in Spain, you want it to represent Spain. And I didn't feel that it was necessarily represented. The characters just felt really out of place. John Cena's performance was all right. There was nothing special to it. He didn't really add anything to the character, but he also didn't take away anything from the character. As much as the whitewashing of the cast was something that I didn't necessarily like, I can't deny that Kate McKinnon's performance as Lupe the Goat was by far the best thing of that movie. She was hilarious, she had great lines, and her delivery, just her performance was very well done. You know, she was into it, and like it really makes it a lot more bearable to hear the comedy that is being written and stuff. She plays into it very well. If anything, go see Ferdinand for Kate McKinnon's performance, because it was really, really good. Nina, like I said earlier, she kind of barely gets any story time. There's not much development. She's just the character that takes Ferdinand in and is his, you know, motivation. But like I said, they didn't give us enough time to understand that motivation or care about it. Everyone else was basically just a bunch of side characters. There wasn't a lot of development to them. They were just kind of there. There was not a lot of like time and effort put into caring about them. They were either comic reliefs, or they were foils, or they were just kind of there. That pretty much sums up the movie. There isn't much to admire about it, but it is, like I said, it's a very classic, fun, you know, good movie. There's nothing bad in it. It's just not great. Unless you really, really like the story of Ferdinand, then you know, most people I would just recommend waiting until it comes out on DVD, watching it with your family, nice and comfy at home. My final rating for the movie is a 5 out of 10. It's a very average movie, and you know, it's not great, it's not bad, it's just average, and that's okay. Yeah, be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought about Ferdinand, and of course hit that like button on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube for more Coog Cinema reviews. If you want to get notified every time we upload a new review, be sure to hit the little bell, the little notification bell, and it'll make sure that you get notified every time we upload content. And if you haven't already, check out our Star Wars The Last Jedi review and The Disaster Artist Coog Cinema review. Both links will be in the description. Thanks for watching Coog Cinema Review, guys. I'm your host, Kiyan Badkoubeh, and I will see you guys next time.
Life is so boring.
Kiyan, what's going on?
Ed, I have nothing to do. Finals are over. School is done. I'm stuck at home, Ed. Help me. You have to help me.
Why don't you try CoogTV.com on demand? It's an on demand.
This?
Yeah, that. I see you've already opened it. It's almost like you knew what I was gonna say.
Well, it turns out, wait, they have Ghostbusters on here, and Central Intelligence, and 22 Jump Street, and Bridesmaids. Oh my God, Ed, this is amazing. I'm gonna be here for the next 3 months. Oh my God, and they have a rival. Ed, thank you. You have saved my life.
You're welcome.
Folks, now you have something to do all winter break.